Today's a chore day, so I made a little snack for the drive. I cut up some of this chow cheese. It's pretty expensive, but it's a good brand. And then I have cucumbers and hummus, and I'm just gonna put the three together and eat it. I just went to the grocery store and got a bunch of different produce and groceries. It ended up being $80, I want to say, but I also got like sunscreen and trash bags and other like non-food items that I kind of needed. And I also splurged on kombucha. So I wanted to answer this question that I've been getting a lot recently because I've been traveling with people, and that is how to find community on the road. And I think when I started traveling solo, I honestly had this perception that I would be traveling the majority of time alone and that this was going to be a solo journey, and I didn't envision myself having a lot of friends on the road for some reason. I just didn't really see it happening. But now I honestly have started to develop all of these friends who are also nomadic and also living in their vans or their school buses or whatever it is. And I think it's honestly just improved my quality of life because I was traveling for 6 months alone, like totally solo, and didn't really know anybody. And it did get lonely after a while. And I think there's a lot of pros and benefits to traveling solo, but everything needs balance. And so it's nice to have a community to fall back on. So I would say the most obvious way to find community is van festivals. This is something I only recently started kind of understanding, and I just went to my first one, which was Van Fest this month. But there's also RTR, there's Descend on Bend, there's Schoolie Palooza, and I'm sure there's more that I haven't heard of. And so that's a great way to meet different van lifers or people that are living nomadically. Also, you can just meet people by doing things that interest you and getting into that community. So for me, I've met people rock climbing, I've met people rock hounding for crystals, I've met people doing animal rights activism, and doing some of these things, it can be intimidating at first to like go to a rock climbing gym totally alone in a new place, or go dig for crystals alone, or to go to an animal rights event alone. Like I distinctly remember having some like fear and anxiety going to my first animal rights event totally alone, but I came out of that experience with new friends that are still my friends today. So I think that's a really great way to meet people. And then another way is hot springs. And I kind of, the last year or two, have really gotten into hot spring culture in a way. It's crazy. People just go hot spring hopping and they just travel and go to hot springs. And it's just this like amazing opportunity to meet people, really, because people go there to socialize. And it's a lot of times it's travelers, or I don't know. I just love hot springs, and I've met a lot of good people through hot springs. So I think that's a great way, and they have hot springs everywhere. I mean, honestly, you just have to do a bit of research, and you can definitely find some cool hot springs where you can meet people. And then this is a way that I honestly haven't really gotten into community, but I'm traveling with my friend Abby, and she's really good at this, and I really look up to her in this way because she really meets people online. So she like follows van lifers that she looks up to, or that she has seen their videos, or she's seen like what they're doing, and she like reaches out to them. And she actually reached out to me because she watched my videos and was just like, hey, we should be friends, and now we're traveling together and we are friends. And so I think that's a really good way that I haven't gotten into, honestly, because even though I do live in a van, I honestly don't consume too much van life content. I would say I don't really watch like van life videos, so I just haven't really had the opportunity to reach out to people. I also get a little scared, and so I feel like that all plays a role in why I like haven't. But I think that's great, and honestly, like something I kind of want to get out of my comfort zone and maybe start doing a little bit more is like reaching out to people that I follow online. And that same train of thought is dating apps. And this I actually did do when I was in San Francisco. I just turned on the friend tick, or you could do the dating tick. And I just looked for people who like had a rock climbing picture or something outdoorsy or lived in a van. And I met a couple people who live in vans through Bumble and stuff like that. I think the reason why those last two ways don't appeal to me as much is because I do generally like meeting people organically, but with that being said, I've met really amazing people like online, and so I think that is also a great way to meet people. So yeah, that's kind of the rundown of how you can meet people and how I've met people. I'm sure there's so many more ways, and if you have any advice on how you've met people, feel free to comment that down below so we can all share our tips. But yeah, I honestly think that before you live nomadically and before you start to travel or whatever, like all of these things feel scary. Like, what about safety? What about meeting people? Am I going to be lonely? But once you get, I don't know, once you get into it, it all just kind of works out. And at least that was my experience. And I think manifesting was also a very big part of my journey. And every single day I would kind of just write like, I'm surrounded by people who love and support me. I attract people that are like-minded. And I like really got into detail with what I wrote about my ideal people that I wanted to be surrounded with. And I think I feel really happy because looking around at the group I'm traveling with currently, I just feel like they really are my ideal people. And the conversations we've been having at night have been so refreshing and beautiful, and has just made me feel like it was all worth it. Like all the manifesting and all of the fear and the risks I took in my personal life with relationships really paid off, because now I'm starting to attract people that I really, really relate to and value and love. How are you guys feeling?
So good.
Happy that we actually are doing something to change the world.
Oh, I love you. You're so cute, Maria.
That was so sweet. Wow, you're so sweet.
Yeah.
How do you think we can change the world?
I think we all can do a little bit. You know, like
Just small efforts. I mean, like, I feel like eating more plants and just cutting out more meat is the easiest way that you can have an impact on the world. Like, it's so easy.
I love having friends that they're not vegan, but then I love cooking for them and then be like, oh my god, this is delicious, I totally could do these.
Yeah.
And like incorporating in their life and like learning about like how messed up things are.
Like, my mom used to be the biggest, like, you know, meat and potatoes person, which was kind of my dad's input. But she called me the other day and she was like, hey, Abby, like, you'll be happy to hear I'm like eating more plant-based. I think I'm gonna go vegan. And I was like, what? Because I've been like vegan, vegetarian, I just say plant-based for like 3 years now. And she was not interested at all until like now. So
yeah, same with my dad. My dad has always eaten meat, and like I think in my culture, like in Venezuela, it's like you eat meat or pork or whatever all the time, and it's like normal. And then we got here and my dad like opened his mind and understood like what's the cause and what he's doing and what he's putting in his body, and the animals are suffering because of our decisions, and that there's something that we can do to stop that. So he has been vegetarian for like 2 years now. Wow, which like it's insane, because like I never saw my family like making that decision, you know.
Like now, especially transitioning into veganism, I feel like it's so much easier than like even 3 years ago when I went vegan. There was like no vegan options in the store.
Know.
Like now you have like vegan chicken nuggets, you have vegan sausages like field roast, you have
there's no
meat.
excuse, like truthfully.
No.
And even like if I wasn't vegan, there are things that are vegan that I prefer over other stuff.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's just feels cleaner to eat too. You don't have like all the fat and grease and all that too.
Cook a vegan dinner tonight on our name.
Do it for us.
Do it for us, yes. And let us know in the comments.
I'm grateful for people who question and to ask for further things, to maybe have uncomfortable conversations with others for the sake of making the world a better place, not just for us, but for all the little creatures that dance around. Because without the uncomfortable conversations, we might not ever find it in ourselves to ask the questions and do our own research to see what might actually be better.
Oh, that's so cute.
Bless your soul.
Bless your soul.
Bless your soul.
What are we doing, guys?
We're signing Keon's birthday card. He doesn't know.
There's a surprise cake.
Surprise cake. The best kind of cake is a surprise cake.
No, like kind of like have that hard surface.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's funny how you said it.
Happy birthday, dear Keon.
Oh no, no!
Happy birthday to you. What are you doing, Maria?
I'm writing a letter for Keon's birthday. You have been working so hard, you made us dinner that you only deserve to be brought breakfast to your van.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Coffee's not ready.
Maria just gave me some oatmeal, and I'm going to take these dates that I made, and they're just like little dessert dates, and I'm gonna cut some of them up and put them in the oatmeal. So it has dates, almond butter, and like a homemade fudge I made, and I just put it in the freezer. So I'm gonna cut it up and sprinkle it in. I'm just gonna put like maybe 2 dates in there with the fudge.
I hope it's not too sweet. I hope it's not too bitter.
I'm sure it'll be delicious.
Yeah, the transfer. That was not smooth, but it was what it was.
It worked.
For anyone who's still hungry, there's like still granola and milk left over there. There's kind of no oatmeal left, but you could like do granola and milk and like
Have a little cereal.
yeah.
I'm trying to do something with my hair.
It looks so cute.
I know, I like what you're doing with it.
I feel like I look like the Star Wars girl.
Yeah, it's cute.
Princess Leia cute.
Princess Leia is very pretty.
You ready for going on a hike?
Mm-hmm. What are we doing? What hike are we doing? Do you know?
The Narrows Landing. No, I don't remember. It's like it's supposedly to a waterfall.
Wait, really? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
It's a mile.
Here for it. We got a few little bugs.
I don't wanna leave you in my lonesome past. So I just wanna know. I just wanna hear you say that there's a chance I'll know you again.
You go to Trader Joe's, their dried pineapple is not the best, okay? But if you find the dried pineapple that's starting to brown, it is better than any dried pineapple you'll get anywhere else. But you've got to find the darker pineapple.
Interesting.
The light stuff
More flavor. Oh, okay.
Left you we're even reticent. Yet bursting at the seams. Wait, wanna know. I just wanna hear you say that there's a chance I'll know you again.
We have some tempeh, we have some cucumbers,
Oh my God, it's huge.
avocado, kale, spring mix, carrots, green onions, radish, avocado, tomato, quinoa, and I think that's all.
Bread.
Yeah.
What do you put in your bread? We need this recipe.
Yeah, it's literally flour, salt, baking powder, olive oil in the pan, water in the pan.
Which type of pan do you have?
I don't know what it is.
Where did you go, my friend? 'Cause I haven't seen you in a while. You must have got lost in your head, 'cause I really missed your smile.
And then you take this guy off and then clean that out, and then this pulls off, and that's what everything gets pushed through, and then this grinds it all, and then that's it. You just wash those 4 parts, and
then that's it.
bada bing, bada boom.
Remember it, 'cause I know I do. We'd spend
My stuff I just throw on there usually.
I don't think I've ever seen in the side of
But this
Inside
thing
of
is
the
like
West Palm.
deceptively like very randomly fits a lot of stuff, even though it's like so much smaller than y'all's. And this seat turns around like yours.
Just a little fancy.
So like there's that. There's kind of some grossness in there. The sink I haven't been using lately. But it's honestly like kind of more convenient to just like pour my own water rather than fill up the water tank and like use the sink and stuff.
A beverage that has no flavor, no sugar, and it just...
Sparkling water,
Yeah,
LaCroix.
next, got it.
Oh, it's got flavor.
What we're all doing right now, we're all meeting. Everyone was at it a week ago. Yes. Type of candy that's really has a at the movie theaters. Yep, got it. Heard it.
Starburst from Trader Joe's.
What we do when there's a disco ball right above us,
Yes.
and we want to work it. Got it. Okay.
Carving it out.
What is he doing?
Fire!
Oh my god.
Campfire. Sitting around a campfire.
Bonfire?
Flashlight, goggles, knapsack.
Whoa.